We'll rock around, that's right on top. It's Brooklyn, and this station for some nation. That's Jason and Joe. Basketball and no more stalling. Monday night is the show. TBS, that's the best. That's all you see. Get back to J, the NBA, all both.
Welcome to the final hectic days of the regular season. Teams maneuvering for position. Tonight we're in Philadelphia, and this is the first season in a long time Sixer fans have been coming to see their team rather than the opponents and their stars. This is TBS NBA Monday. Indiana has already secured the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia needs wins tonight and tomorrow in Chicago to capture the home court in the first round. And good evening, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside John Thompson and Danny Ainge. Todd Harris roving the arena here in cold and chilly Philadelphia tonight. Well, the Pacers and 76ers are good teams in a conference that has no great team. In fact, Philadelphia has had to battle a litany of injuries all season long just to stay good. Case in point, their wonderful Allen Iverson. Tonight, he will play with a bad rotator cuff, a sore shooting elbow, and a broken left toe. Aside from that, he's doing great. And John, you know about Allen. What about this 76er team as they approach the playoffs?
Well, I couldn't see Allen for the bandages when we went to practice today. But one of the things that I've been extremely impressed with that Larry Brown has done is the supporting cast that he's put around Allen. So much talk is said about how Allen Iverson and what he means to this team. But Larry has put around him a lot of guys, Kevin, that have been extremely supportive of him and how he plays the game. And I think that that's a smart thing for a coach to do.
And that's the reason, all banged up, Iverson is playing tonight. Philadelphia has got to win. Let's swing it over now to Danny in Indiana. They will not play Mark Jackson tonight. They will not play Reggie Miller tonight. What about the Pacers?
Well, Larry Bird wants two things going into the playoffs. He wants home court advantage, which they've already secured, and he wants healthy bodies. I think it's very wise to rest Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller. But make no mistake about it, Indiana wants to win this game tonight. Jalen Rose gets to play his favorite position, the point guard. Chris Mullin gets his first start at the shooting guard on the year. And Oscar Crozier is going to be at the small forward, the first time he's been there. So these guys want to play. They should be loose. It should be a great game.
Now, this is one of a lot of good games tonight on the NBA schedule. In fact, battling for that 8th and final Eastern Conference playoff slot right now, Orlando and Milwaukee. And throughout the night, live reports from the arena with Craig Sager. Before we go there, we go to Atlanta and check in with Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, and Hubie Brown. Then back to TBS NBA Monday from Philadelphia.
Right, 3 nights to go in the regular season. We're with you for all 3. Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studio. Kenny Smith is going to be here at halftime, and so will Hubie Brown, because tonight we honor regular season brilliance with the Hubies. 4 games on the slate tonight, a biggie in Orlando between the Bucks and the Magic, with the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference riding on it. Early action in Orlando tonight. Look at that score. At that point, 22-5, and the Milwaukee Bucks absolutely pouring it on. Rafer Alston goes to the line, or goes through the lane, and makes the bucket 24-9 at that point. And that is our highlight of that game. And you can see Craig Sager down there in what has to be a very quiet arena. What's up with the Magic in a huge game, Craig?
Well, I'd like to say they came out flat, but it's like they didn't even come out at all, to be honest with you. They were out-rebounded that first quarter 17-5 at one point, and they also turned the ball over 8 times against Milwaukee. They fell way behind. Doc Rivers called 2 timeouts, benched the entire starting 5. Right now they are shooting just 3 out of 16, for like about 18%. The big crowd, close to sellout, if it was not a complete sellout, was very quiet when they fell behind. Of course, George Karl said that was one of the keys, to match their intensity and also to match them point for point in the first 5 minutes, get the crowd out of it, and they have done more than that.
I was going to say mission accomplished. Thanks, Fred. We'll check with you as the night goes on. If the Bucks win that game, they are in the playoffs. If Orlando wins that game, then they are still in the hunt for it. They have some unfinished business, even if they do win tonight. Coming up next year on TBS NBA Monday, it's the Pacers and the Sixers. Allen Iverson all banged up, but telling team president Pat Croce, you know what? I'm going tonight, trying to get home court in the first round. It's TBS NBA Monday next.
Never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. By Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted. By Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. And by Daytech Online. The rules of online trading are changing.
Welcome back to TBS NBA Monday tonight from rainy Philadelphia. The Indiana Pacers, the top team in the Eastern Conference tonight, starting Jalen Rose the point, Chris Mullin at the 2, Austin Crozier, Rick Smits, and Dale Davis comprise their front line. For the Philadelphia 76ers, Snow, Allen Iverson, George Lynch, Ratliff, and Tyrone Hill. And let's send it over to the Salt Lake City Flash. Todd Harris. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, to say the skies were less than friendly to the Indiana Pacers would be a huge understatement. Check out this flight itinerary. After their win last night in Detroit, they board an 11:30 plane. They get halfway to Philadelphia. They have to go back from mechanical problems. An hour on the ground on a new plane later, they finally get to Philadelphia at 4 o'clock this morning. Fatigue may be a factor. Kevin?
All right, Todd, thank you. And Danny, you've been a part of travel problems like that in the past. As you take a look at Jackson on the bench, and there's Reggie Miller. They will not play. Miller with a back problem and a right contusion on the right thigh of Mark Jackson. But sometimes, you know, situations like this can bring out the best in a team.
It really can. Those guys are right there talking about, oh, I get all your shots in there, Mark. The team is going to be very loose. These guys are happy that they get a chance to play a different position, and that loose, relaxed atmosphere can make that basket a little bit bigger.
John, you were talking to Allen Iverson before the game. How is he feeling about things, both for his team and physically, as you take a look at our officials?
Well, physically, I think he's very sore. One of the things he said about Indiana, though, is the fact that they have more size in the backcourt and also more speed when they come with Best. So he said it's not necessarily just good, the fact that these guys are out.
Rick Smits heard from early, and here comes Eric Snow from Canton, Ohio, working on Chris Mullin. Mullin making his second start of the season tonight, and a pass goes astray as they try to go for Lynch down low.
Well, you know, I don't think Mark Jackson is hurting so bad. If this was a crucial game, he probably would be playing, but I think Larry Bird's more concerned that Mark Jackson could sprain an ankle trying to guard Allen Iverson.
Wouldn't anybody? Mark Jackson, who played well a week ago tonight against the New York Knicks, and here comes some full court pressure by Philly.
Well, and I think they have to do that, particularly with the size of Indiana. You can expect a lot of posting up of both Snow and Allen Iverson. So Philly's trying to extend the defense and put a lot more pressure on them down court.
Austin Crozier, who played at Providence with a nice reverse.
Great play. You know, Austin, that's a tough play because they're trying to front in the low post, and Rick Smits rooted Theo Ratliff out, so there was no help along the baseline for George Lynch.
Crozier vital to the Indiana Pacers, Larry Bird said. Here's George Lynch, who played at North Carolina, over Crozier. Rebound by Dale Davis. Rose ahead, looking for Crozier, broken up by Lynch. Lynch is a nice defensive player for Larry Brown. And Larry loves players that play defense.
Well, Crozier is so good offensively. He can shoot the outside shot, and he can put the ball on the floor either way. Loves playing the power forward position because he's got such an advantage, but there he goes by the good defending George Lynch.
Well, and he's a tremendous addition to this team. I think Larry Bird has done a great job with Jalen Rose and Crozier's confidence in getting both of them ready to play and feel comfortable about their ability to play.
Iverson driving down the lane with the foul assessed on Smits. Just knocked out of bounds. 14 seconds to shoot as you take a look at Larry Bird. Iverson through traffic for two.
Well, that's one of the things you have to admire about Allen. With all the injuries that he has, he still insists upon penetrating through those big people, and you know he's got to feel it every time he goes to the basket.
They're looking for Smits down low. Working on Theo Ratliff, the ex-Detroit Piston. Rebound by Hill. Outlet caught by Snow. Here comes Philadelphia. Snow to Hill.
No transition defense there by Indiana Pacers. Smith and Davis were late getting back on defense.
Jalen Rose, who played at Michigan, driving down the lane, whacked as he was taking it, curling in. Eric Snow was in there, and Snow picks up his first foul.
Right here, Snow does a good job of pushing the ball in transition. Theo clears out the two big guys, and then the trailer, Tyrone Hill, gets it there. Easy basket just for hustling.
Well, particularly with this lineup in the game, I think the 76ers have to get it down and try to get some uncontested layups because of the size of the 76ers and Allen and Snow.
Jalen Rose, who grew up in Detroit, won 3 city high school basketball championships, part of the Fab Five that went to the University of Michigan, starting at point guard, which Larry Brown, when he coached Indiana, would never let him play.
Well, again, I think that's one of the things that Larry Bird has done extremely well, is he's believed in this kid and given the kid a lot more confidence.
Mullen reaching in as Hill was taking it across the lane, and a foul called on Mullen. That is number 1. And Chris Mullen tonight taking the place of Reggie Miller. The pressure is off Indiana, but is firmly on the shoulders of the Philadelphia 76ers, needing to win tonight and tomorrow to secure home court for the first round of the playoffs. We talked to Larry Brown today. He seems confident, though, John, about his ball club.
Well, he was very confident. You know, I was really impressed with the fact that as much as Larry may moan about some things, that he was extremely confident in this group of guys. And he also felt the fact that they play good defense and play together very well.
He looks loose talking to Mo Cheeks on the bench.
No question about it. You know, the pressure is so much off Indiana right now because that home court advantage is so critical. Not so much in games 1 through 6, Coach, but in that 7th game, knowing that you have your home crowd, that's a big advantage. And both these coaches know, and that's why they both want to. That's why Larry feels pressure to win tonight.
Dale Davis hits the shot there. 3 of 5 shooting so far for Indiana. 76ers 2 of 4. Theo Ratliff, who came in a trade with Jerry Stackhouse. Stackhouse to Detroit. Ratliff here, and here comes Jalen Rose off to Rick Smits. And that is a shot that he's very familiar with.
Yeah, Rick can hit that shot on the trailer. 7'4". He scores inside, scores outside, and you can tell he's playing very loose right now.
Allen Iverson, an all-star starter for the East in Oakland a couple months ago. Crozier to Chris Mullen.
Well, I think Crozier is one of the key guys in this and benefiting from this game, because if he gets to really playing well, it certainly will help Indiana an awful lot in the playoffs.
Dale Davis hits again, and Davis has hit his second.
Dale Davis has really improved that part of his game. If he can really take that game, that post-up game, that medium-range jump shot into the playoffs like he's done throughout the regular season, that'll be a big boost.
George Lynch driving on Crozier. Inside the ex-Los Angeles Laker, George Lynch with 2.
Well, that's one of the things Indiana's going to have to really improve upon. They've got to play good perimeter defense because they really don't have a dominating shot blocker inside.
Chris Mullen saves it. A wild pass retrieved by Rose. 6 to shoot. Smith's uncovered. Now Ratliff comes and alters the shot. Rebound by Chris Mullen, who puts it up and in.
He's such a smart player. He saw the shot going up. He rooted Allen Iverson, used his size and advantage to get that offensive rebound.
And you know what, Danny? I think the closer they get to the playoffs, the smarter Chris will get, too.
Veteran teams always thrive.
Always.
The ball moves so much better when he's on the court. He passes, he hits the open shot, he spaces the defense. He's such a smart player.
Jalen Rose into Crozier, who played at Providence College. Knocks it down.
I love this kid because he's so aggressive out there. He doesn't play tentative. He comes out, he looks for his shots, but yet he doesn't force the play.
In a crucial game for the Philadelphia 76ers, Larry Brown has seen Indiana go on a 10-2 run. And the best team in the East, Indiana, leads Philadelphia by 7. It connects out the Hornets if they win tonight. and, of course, win tomorrow in Chicago.
Yeah, they have to win both of the games because Charlotte has that tiebreaker.
You know, and the thing to do is to try to play as well as you can play. Sometimes if you come out on the floor and you try to figure out all the scenarios, you end up finding yourself in trouble. You just play well, win the ball game, and let the statistics take care of themselves.
Neither team has made a change. Indiana is 7 of 10 from the field. Crozier 2 of 2. Indiana +4 in rebounding, and Eric Snow, truly one of the most underrated guards in the NBA, packs one in.
Well, without a doubt, you know, he's an unsung hero out there. He plays defense extremely hard, and he gives the basketball up and keeps things going for this team.
Lynch is on Crozier. Shot clock down to 10, under 7 to play in the first quarter. Smith again as Crozier threw everybody down low to him.
Crozier's demanding a lot of tension right there. He had a double team with Theo Ratliff and George Lynch, two pretty darn good defenders down there, created an easy shot for Smith.
Well, and in practice, Larry Brown was talking about how he wanted to attack the dribble when Smith's posted up, but every shot he's taken now has been from the perimeter.
Ratliff with the miss. Philadelphia has started 4 of 10. Rose to Crozier. Across the lane, triple team with a nice fake to free himself. What a play.
I told you guys before the game, that guy's getting a start, man. He wants to start his job. Plus, he's a free agent this year. You kidding me? This is a big game for Oscar Crozier, Jalen Rose, and Chris Mullin.
When I think he's taken Danny already. Jackson's share the shots already.
Iverson trying to take it inside. Smits was lunging in. And the foul called on Rick Smits as Iverson with just 2 points so far. That's the first on Rick, and we'll see Allen Iverson at the free throw line. You can't see his injured as you take a look at Larry Bird, but that white wrap there on that shooting elbow, if you took that off, you would see an elbow the size of a grapefruit. I mean, it is really swollen, John.
Well, it is very big, and as he was showing you and I before, you know, the game started, he can't get full extension on the elbow, on his shooting arm.
It's 2 right there. And the 76ers, who have won 4 consecutive games and 8 in a row at home, are trailing Indiana by 7. Rose to Mullin. Chris Mullin right between the eyes.
Well, Iverson was there to contest it, but Mullin is so much bigger and doesn't even fear that Iverson's going to contest his shot.
Rose has 4 assists already.
Well, he has 4 assists, but he doesn't seem to be attempting any shots. When you put him in the point guard position, his role totally changes because he's been an offensive force with them in the last few games, but now he's not taking shots.
George Lynch knocks that down. Lynch is coming off a 17-point, 15-rebound game against Detroit. Jalen Rose with the miss.
He must have heard me say he wasn't taking shots.
Snow to Iverson. 7-4 Rick Smith snares it. He's got 3 rebounds.
It's such an advantage to have a big guy like Smith who can step out and shoot that jump shot because they got post-up at their guards and forward position. There are post-up advantages.
They almost have post-up advantages in every position when you look at Indiana here.
Ball into Smith. Rebound by Tyrone Hill, the ex-Cleveland Cavalier and Milwaukee Buck. And here comes Snow working into the defense of Mullin. Swings it to Lynch outside. 38% shooting for Philadelphia. Jalen Rose, initially drafted by Denver. Davis to Crozier for 3. A rare miss for Crozier. Rebound by 6'1" Allen Iverson, weaving through traffic. Got the screen from Lynch and can't convert.
Well, he's short-arming that ball an awful lot, Kevin, because he can't get the extension.
Oh, what a play by Iverson.
He's just amazing. His arm is bothering him. You can tell a little bit on his jump shot from the outside, but it's not bothering him too much to keep him from shooting.
Well, he'll get his attempts, but I don't like the fact that he's penetrating as much as he is because I think he pays the price for that, particularly when he's hurt every time he penetrates, Kevin.
Iverson's got 6. And
this is a perfect example. I mean, you're talking about a guy with a broken toe, a bandaged up elbow, and he's challenging, the biggest guys out on the floor there. You're going to have to pay a price if you continue to do that.
Illegal defense, the call on Philadelphia. Here's Mullin. drawing the defense of Hill. Into Smith, mismatch against Lynch, and Crozier is there to clean it up.
Well, they can't let that happen because you're going over to help on Smith. He misses, and Crozier comes in from the weak side. They've got to, because Indiana's so big, they've got to keep them off of the offensive board. You can't give them 2 shots.
Crozier has 8. Indiana shooting 61% from the field. Tyrone Hill at point-blank range miss for Philadelphia. Crozier the screen. Rose frees himself with a pass to Smith. And Hill is there to reel it in.
76ers have got to get in the open court and create some offense with their speed because they're playing a slow-down game right now, and the advantage goes to the bigger Pacer team right now.
Well, I think one of the things has to happen, Dan, is 76ers feed so much off of Allen Iverson, and he's not going extremely well, that he's got to get started to instill confidence in the rest of the players.
Rick Smith hit from there before, hits there again. Rick Smith has 8 points. Indiana has a lead of 9, their biggest lead in the first quarter.
Well, Kevin, if you look at who the 76ers have out on the floor, if Allen Iverson isn't scoring, who's going to initiate the scoring for that team? The other side of the floor, Indiana has several guys that are very capable of putting the ball in the basket.
Another turnover for Philadelphia. They've got 2. Nice steal inside Ratliff. Touche says Mullen for 3. Chris Mullen from outside. He's got 7 in his second start this season.
And they're playing so loose. I mean, they had a 3-on-1 break right there on the steal, and Mullen jacks up a 3.
After he shot that 3, looked over here at the scores table. I thought he was telling me, Danny, just like I used to do against you when I was at St. John's.
The 5-time All-Star, the 2-time Olympian, 36 years of age and looking better than ever.
Where the Magic fell behind 24-5 before mounting a second quarter rally, and they are now trailing by a score of 37-28. The difference for Orlando has been Pat Garrity, 11 points off the bench, and also Chucky Atkins had 6. They're also playing Chucky Atkins and Darrell Armstrong together, 2 very short guys who could be playing in the 6-foot and under league. That's the latest here for Orlando. And Kevin, I miss you. What's happening back there in Philly?
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Orlando was trailing 20-3 early in that game, and have come back and close the gap just a bit.
Well, that's the energy level. If the pace of the game gets up, the way Orlando plays, they pressure, they run, they can make up differences, and they can lose leads very quickly. The way, the tempo that they play the game, Kevin.
Here it's 27-15. Indiana is on top with 2:01 to play in the first quarter. Sixers had a 1-point lead early on. Eric Snow is in there. Neither team has made a substitution. No Reggie Miller tonight. No Mark Jackson, both out with injuries. And Eric Snow missing. Rebound by Rick Smith, and he's got 4.
Well, right now, you see Chris Mullen going down to double team in the low post. They have no fear from the outside shooters. They don't care if George Lynch and Eric Snow shoot those outside shots. And at the other end, Indiana has 5 offensive players, guys that are scoring in there. So they have to double team, and you can't leave anybody open.
There's a turnover. Mullen picked off by Lynch. It's Snow off the Hill over Crozier. Another rebound, number 5 for Rick Smith. Jalen Rose working through traffic. First year he's been a full-time starter after coming off the bench the last 3 years. Iverson the other way. And he's got 6. Mullen knocks it away. 1:02 to play in the first quarter.
Well, and Kukoc is coming in the game now, and I think that that's extremely important because Philadelphia's in a position where they're relying so much on Allen Iverson being able to score. And as Danny indicated, if you look down at the other end of the floor at Indiana, they have about 5 different options of guys that can score on that team.
And this is a big move for Philadelphia, bringing Kukoc. He's such a complete player. He scores in so many different ways.
He threw that inbounds away. The alert Chris Mullen with a twirling play. And Mullen has put in 9.
He's so under control, and he's so smart and clever in the passing lane. I'll tell you another guy that's going to help Philadelphia scoring-wise right now is Aaron McKee. He's an offensive threat out there, and it's going to be tougher for them to double team.
Iverson takes it inside. So let's set Philadelphia for you. Kukoc, Iverson, Matt Geiger is in with Aaron McKee, who Larry Brown loves, and Tyrone Hill. And here comes Jalen Rose. Sam Perkins and McKee are in for Indiana. Rose with the miss and a foul called inside.
Well, it's interesting. Even though Rose can handle the ball, even though he can pass the ball, it's always difficult when you put a guy in the point guard position to know when the play is on him. You usually either end up taking all of the shots or you end up distributing the ball and not looking for a shot at all for yourself. And that's the difficulty when you go into that position.
So here's Rose. In the last 16 games, he's been on fire since the All-Star break. He's averaging 5 more points a game than Reggie Miller, who, Danny, has led Indiana in scoring since the 89-90 season.
Yeah, and you know, the greatest thing, I think, is that Reggie's been willing to let Jalen share in that. And the other thing is that down the stretch, a lot of times Jalen is the go-to guy, which is really amazing for the success that Reggie's had throughout his career.
Well, that's the thing that has surprised me, too, Danny, in watching him. And it shows the confidence that Larry Bird has in him, that when he needs a shot at the end, he has been going to Jalen Rose.
Shot clock at 6. Matt Geiger inside. Geiger had knee surgery early on, but has been more consistent the last couple games. Final seconds of the first quarter ticking off. Rose against Kukoc. No look to Crozier with the fake and a foul. And Geiger drops the anvil on Crozier inside, and Crozier will go to the line.
Crozier has so much energy. He's just diving to the basket, just begging for the ball. He really wants to score, and he knows that it's okay for him to take shots. And that's great confidence in a young player to have.
Well, it was a great pass coming off of the dribble. Jalen got that up and got it to him. I love the fact that Crozier can not only get his shot off of the dribble, but he makes the cut. You know, he uses the screen. He can do almost every phase of offense to get open to get his shot.
Getting 2 free throws right there. His free throw shooting he's very proud of. Practices incessantly. Kukoc at the buzzer. And that concludes a dismal first quarter for Philadelphia, but a glittering first quarter for Chris Mullin. 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field. They're going to need him come playoff time. His Pacers lead Philadelphia 33-19.
Atlanta, wild night in Orlando. The Bucks were on top 20-3. They were on top 24-5, 24-9 after 1. Look at the Magic coming back. 3-pointer for Darrell Armstrong cut the lead to 2 in the second quarter. Orlando trying to get in the playoffs. The Bucks get in if they win that game. It's 41-36 in the closing seconds of the first half. Go back to Jam Master Kev.
Welcome back to TBS NBA Monday from Philadelphia. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Todd Harris from the First Union Center. Right across the street, Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles and the Phillies play. And the old Spectrum is still here. They use that for a lot of college basketball and concerts. We begin the second quarter with Geiger out there. Kukoc, the ex-Chicago Bull, getting it right now, working on Derek McKee. And leaning into McKee, rebound by Chris Mullin. Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller not playing tonight, so we're going to see a lot of Travis Best, who's in for the first time right here, and Jalen Rose at the point. And a great feed, Best into Sam Perkins with the miss. Rebound by Geiger.
So with the addition of Best, you add speed, whereas before Indiana had a lot of size over the 76ers, but now Larry mixes it up good because you put a guy like Best who's so quick out there that they've got to now cope with his size and his defensive ability to stay in front of ours.
Aaron McKee with the drive inside and a foul. The front court scoring in this game has been eye-opening. Indiana, Danny, has outscored the Philadelphia 76ers front court 22-7. Make it now 22-9.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You know, Tyrone Hill's not a scorer. Theo Ratliff's not really a scorer. Geiger's probably the best shooter of the group. But now they got Kukoc out there, and they're going to try to rectify that to some extent. They're going to go to him on the low post and hope he could create some easy opportunities.
Aaron McKee at the free throw line. You look at Tony Kukoc, and let's send it over to Todd Harris.
Well, thanks, Kevin. On the last time out, Coach Larry Brown exhorted his team, pick up your man earlier. He's trying to disrupt the flow of Indiana's offense right now, which seems to be running just perfectly. He says, we need stops. Bottom line, we need some stops. Kevin?
And Indiana shooting well. Thank you, Todd. 58% from the floor is Best. It's Crozier spinning into Kukoc, out to McKee, into 38-year-old Sam Perkins with a dazzling move inside on Matt Geiger.
Oh, big smoothie, they call him. He just Slow motion, him and Chris Mullin may be the slow motion couple, but
I tell you what, Danny, he may be 30, what, 8? But it's no fat on his fingers.
Geiger. He's got 4. That Geiger could be a big factor for the 76ers come playoff time, especially if they play Charlotte, where Geiger played a couple years ago. Mullins to Perkins.
Well, Larry wants the 76ers to put more pressure on the ball, but it's going to be a lot more difficult with Best in the game.
Mullin with a nifty pass over to Perkins, who fans. Allen Iverson the other way. He's got 6 points, driving into Best with the whistle and a foul. Called on Travis Best, having the best season of his career.
Well, Sam Perkins, this is the young guys need to learn how to do this in the low post. He wants to get the jump hook. That's his favorite shot. He's been doing it for years, and he just sets it up right here. He gives a little head and shoulders fake, gets the shot that he wants down on the low post.
Well, the problem with that, Danny, is that you can't learn it until you got to wait until you get to be 38. Young guy can't pick that up.
Great pass by Aaron McKee on top to Hill.
Yeah, great pass. Perkins just jumped out, and Hill slid in behind. Got the great pass from McKee for the easy 2.
Travis Best from Georgia Tech. Here comes Perkins as Geiger's kind of bouncing back and forth from one guy to the next. Very active on the defensive end. With the whistle blown inside, it's on Tony Kukoc, who picks up number 1. Timeout. Big game for the Philadelphia 76ers. If they want home court in the playoffs, they need to win tonight and tomorrow. It's the NBA on TNT tomorrow night beginning at 8 Eastern. The Toronto Raptors against Miami. Toronto at number 6, Miami at number 2 in the East. Then the Seattle Sonics take on the Sacramento Kings. A huge game to decide who will be in that 8th slot in the West. You can see some notes with that game tomorrow night. It'll be the first playoff appearance in the 5-year history of the Toronto Raptors. And once again, 4 consecutive Atlantic Division titles for Alonzo Mourning and the Miami Heat. By the way, Pat Riley and our Craig Sager on best of terms after that little conversation they had on Friday night as to why Zoe was not playing.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought Pat Riley was going to play defense on Craig for a while.
Well, a bigger concern is Tim Hardaway's foot. He re-injured it yesterday in the game, and they really need a healthy Tim Hardaway to have any chance.
Well, they've got to get some outside shooting going, too, because Alonzo's going real well inside, but you've got to get some guys outside to drop some baskets in so that it takes the pressure off of him inside.
Like Austin Crozier right there. He's gone 5 of 6.
Well, that guy, he just scores in so many ways. I mean, he shot threes. He's done it all tonight, and he's very difficult to defend because he's quick off the dribble, and he can knock down that medium-range jump shot.
Here's Geiger with Crozier there, and Crozier picks up the foul, trying to guard Geiger. Crozier in his 3rd year. Not much his rookie season. The lockout last year. But this year, he has really emerged, and he is now one of the prime candidates for not only most improved player in the NBA, but also that 6th man award.
Well, and I give Larry Bird a lot of credit for that, because I think a guy that's with that kind of experience in the league feeds off of his coach an awful lot and what he believes in him and how he thinks that he can play.
Good Snow hitting again from outside for Philadelphia. 10-point game. Biggest Pacer lead tonight has been 14. Indiana shooting almost 60%. 42% shooting for Philadelphia. It's Perkins to Rose. They're looking for Crozier, and they got a good defensive stopper, Lynch, on him now. That's a battle outside the lane. Jalen Rose inside, playing the off guard right now. Rebound by Kukoc.
Well, Jalen hasn't got it off offensively yet. He's trying to get his feel for the game, playing that point guard position. And even though he's a 2 guard, he's still handling the ball a lot with Travis Best out there.
Well, and you know what else I find interesting, Danny? Everybody's talking about how well Kukoc passes the basketball, but it appears to me that on this 76ers team, they need his offensive scoring more than they need his passing at this point.
Well, they usually try to get a mismatch, but Derek McKee guarding him, you're not going to see them double team much, and so doesn't have the ability to find the open man. He's got to try to create offense in his own.
Exactly. He's got to look for the shot a little bit because they rely so much on Allen that if things aren't going well, that's why Larry is calling for more defensive pressure, because he hopes to get out and get easy baskets.
Travis Best throws it away. Turnovers even at 4 apiece. Snow to Kukoc. No look to Lynch. Pretty play.
Beautiful pass right there by Kukoc. But that time he took it to the basket and drew more than one defender to him and found the open man.
He'll be a free agent at the end of this season. Kukoc will.
If I were Larry, I'd hate to see him go, though. I tell you that, because I think that with his acclimation to the team and his acclimation to playing with Allen Iverson, they can really have something special in the future.
Oh, nice deceptive move by Perkins, but he can't get it. Kukoc. The rebound to Snow, to McKee, and Geiger. Perkins was steamrolled by McKee. And McKee comes up hobbling, and McKee picks up the foul.
What a great defensive play right there. Good outlet by Kukoc, finding they got a 3-on-1 break. You got to find a way to score here. Great defense by Perkins. 38 years old, nothing to play for, still giving up his body.
And hurt his right knee a week ago last week in New York's Madison Square Garden. Hurt his right knee. He says it's never felt that way before, but he's out there playing tonight.
Well, it's amazing how when you get around playoff time, it rejuvenates a lot of the veteran players.
Crozier with the charge. That's the second on him.
Well, he makes his mistakes being aggressive, though, Kevin, and that's a great sign for a young player like that. You know, he's not sitting back tentative, afraid to do things. He gets out and tries to create plays, try to attack the defense a lot.
John, both teams showing a lot of energy.
Well, I think that they are, but, you know, the 76ers have to discover some offense from somewhere.
Rebound by Crozier. He's got 5. Pacers are +3 in rebounding, 16-13 over Philly. It's Geiger on Perkins. Double by Kukoc with a flash. 10 to shoot for Derek McKee. Double. Geiger was there to help out Kukoc, and then gobbles up the rebound. Out to Tony Kukoc. Into George Lynch. What a play.
And that's the kind of baskets the Sixers have to find. They got to get some easy baskets in the transition off of their defense.
Well, it comes off of, as Danny indicated, it comes off of, and that's why Larry was calling for it, is pressure defense, cause them to miss some shots, get some steals or get some rebounds, and then you get some layups and don't have to be concerned about the shooting as much.
Philadelphia's on a 10-2 run. There was a foul called on George Lynch, who was tagged with his first for the 76ers.
Just a good defensive outlet, and there again, Tony Kukoc shows his great passing abilities in the open court.
Well, especially for a big guy, Danny.
There we go again. Indiana has captured the top seed in the Eastern Conference, and as long as they're alive, they'll have the home court advantage in the upcoming playoffs. Philadelphia, 4 consecutive wins, 8 in a row at home. They've got to win tonight. They've got to win tomorrow in Chicago, does Philadelphia, to secure their home court advantage. Indiana is watching the 76ers on a 10-2 run. And we've got 6:14 to play here in the second quarter. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Todd Harris from First Union Center. On a nasty weather day here in Philadelphia. Take a look at Larry Brown. And the 2 guys not playing tonight, Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson. Miller's got a back ailment. Jackson a right thigh contusion, we are told.
I like that. We are told.
Here's Derek McKee looking for Jalen Rose. Dale Davis back in the game with Smith and Best for Indiana. Double teamed is Rose. Oh, a pretty shot by Jalen Rose.
Well, they moved him out of the one spot, and he went down in low, and now he's more relaxed and looking for his own shot. Once he's able to distribute that thought in between passing and shooting in the point guard position, he really will be dangerous. Not to say he's not now.
Tony Kukoc fires a beauty into Geiger.
Another beautiful pass by Tony. They put him out at the top of the key in the point forward position, and he's the reader of the defense. They're trapping the pick and rolls, and he's finding the open man.
He's got 5 assists already. Here comes Travis Best. Looking for Rose. Cross court to McKee. Swinging it down to Smith. Rebound by Aaron McKee. No relation to Derek McKee on Indiana. Kukoc again. Tony Kukoc has taken over this game.
That's 4 in a row. 4 assists in a row by Tony Kukoc.
Well, he's responsible for a lot of points out there on the floor, but I still believe in order for this Philadelphia team to be successful, he's got to contribute more as a scorer.
And he makes a steal right there. He's had 6 assists in 8 minutes. Lynch throws it back to Jalen Rose. Under 5 to play in the first half. Rose to Smith, picked up by the smaller Lynch. Kukoc almost had another steal. Jalen Rose. Dale Davis with a big rebound, a fresh 24-second shot clock. And Travis Best swings it over to an uncovered Jalen Rose for 3. McKee the rebound. Great offensive rebounding.
Well, that's the thing that happens when you try to steal the way the 76ers are doing, Danny. A lot of times it doesn't leave you in a position to box out, and the team is in a position to get a lot of offensive rebounding.
And the biggest Indiana weakness may be offensive rebounding.
Right. Indiana's the 28th worst offensive rebounding team in basketball, but just a little bit different lineup without Reggie and Mark Jackson out there.
And it's the 76ers team that's looking to steal so much that they're not in a position to box out.
Philadelphia, one of the top steal teams in the NBA, is Jalen Rose, whose dad was a one-time #1 pick in the NBA, puts in his 6th point tonight.
That's what I love about Jalen. He's learned that from Reggie, I think. He's missed 3 in a row, and he comes down, he doesn't even hesitate. Just jacks up the next one. I love that.
Kukoc into McKee and off to Geiger. You know, Kukoc coming here before the trading deadline in the 3-way deal that involved Golden State and the Chicago Bulls. 31 years of age. They're 21-9 with him here. But Danny, the effect that he's had on this team statistically and in the win-loss column, very dramatic.
Well, I think this is the big one right here. You can see he's given easier opportunities for those big guys. They're shooting 51% since he's been here. That just means his passing is that much better. But I think it's probably the key acquisition for any playoff team.
And John, one of the most important decisions I'm sure Larry Brown has to make is when to put him in and when to take him out.
Well, that's a decision every coach would love to have, though. When you have a player like that, you know, I think he can contribute so much. He hasn't scored an awful lot today, but he's been responsible for a lot of points in this ball game. I still think if he's playing and Allen's on the floor at the same time, he's got to incorporate his ability to make assists and make the play for other players by scoring himself, because he has the ability to score also.
He had 6 assists in 8 minutes.
And I don't think it's that hard of a decision. I think you play him as much as he can.
Exactly right.
Iverson back in. Here's Rick Smith with a twirling shot that goes down.
Well, that's about the first time he's taken a shot in the post. Larry practiced a lot in talking about how to defend him when he posted up, when Crozier drive, and also when the other people shot outside. But he's been outside shooting most of the game.
By the way, Kukoc is set to come back in, still gasping for air. Allen Iverson playing with a broken toe, a bad elbow, and a banged-up rotator cuff. And probably some other ailments we're not sure of. His body is falling apart. Timeout taken with under 3 to play in the first half. It's Indiana leading Philadelphia 45-37.
Internet.com. Get totally free internet access. Download freeinternet.com because the internet was meant to be free. And by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
All right, Allen's trying to deny. We got to all be up with him. Take time off the clock. We're okay. We don't get hurt in the post up. But front, make him throw over the top. We're not going to get beat on that. All right, hey, what's the foul? 5-2. All right, we have a foul to give in the next minute, and then we have one before the half. Be aware of that. 2 for 1. We got 12 or 13. All right?
Well, right there, he's telling them to front. And, Coach, that's another reason why they've been getting beat on the offensive boards, is sometimes they're fronting that low post.
Well, and that's definitely true. One of the things he was also saying is that Allen is picking up full court. He wants the other players to come out and pick up full court to try to prevent them from being able to get an easy basket in the post position. It doesn't do any good for one guy to press full court if the other guys aren't up also and putting pressure up there.
John, what is it with Allen Iverson at the free throw line? We just saw Larry Brown. What is the relationship like between these two?
Well, I think they have a great relationship. You know, people misunderstand the fact that when guys have disagreements, you have disagreements within your family. I definitely think they have a good relationship, but it's always going to be a fussing relationship. It's nothing to it, Kevin.
Here's Best out there with Smith, Davis, Derek McKee, and Rose. And as the penetrating Best takes it inside, he's fouled by Iverson, who picks up number 1.
Well, that was the thing that Allen was saying about having Best in there. Mark will try to post him slowly by backing him in, but Best is quick enough to penetrate very quickly, and Allen's got to play better defense and stand in front of the man.
It's good strategy also by Larry to go to Travis Best and have him run some pick and rolls and make Iverson play some defense.
They're looking for Smits inside. Touch pass back to Derek McKee, who is playing with a torn tendon in his ankle. He is half the player he should be on defense, but he hits a three right there on offense.
He's done a pretty good job one-on-one defending Kukoc so far, but he's not the same player that he was earlier in his career.
Wipe it away, will not count. With an Indiana foul assessed on Jalen Rose, tagged with his first. We've only had 16 free throw attempts here in the first half. Not that much as Eric Snow prepares to go to the free throw line. I think we talked about it before, John. Truly one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Truly among guards, great defense, and one of the great on-ball defenders, in fact, in the NBA.
Well, he's the type of player that a coach appreciates, Kevin. He does all of the things that assist other players. He does all of the things that are not recognized. Out playing defense, out getting loose balls, running the offense, getting the ball to the proper people. Coaches appreciate that kind of player.
You may recall his brother Percy played NFL football at Kansas City and a couple other teams after being the Lombardi Award winner out of Michigan State.
He also allows Iverson to play some of the weaker offensive players so he can focus more on offense, and Snow will defend the toughest of the guards, the point guard or the two guards.
Nice fake by Theo Davis with a right-handed sledgehammer for two.
Great play by Davis, but you know, Ratliff is a shot blocker, and you can get him off his feet with some ball fakes anytime.
Snow to Hill. Ratliff is in. Kukoc is in the game as well. There's Allen Iverson, picked up by Best. Shot clock at 7. Trying to wiggle his way inside. Hill with the miss. Look at Rick Smits playing Twister on the floor. Danny, I think you were talking about it. They've already clinched home court throughout the playoffs, yet they're not playing like a team that's got nothing to play for.
I love that Twister on the floor. I've never heard that one before. That's good. No, they are going after the ball. I don't see any sign of Indiana tanking this game in any way, shape, or form. They're playing hard. Allen Iverson's got the bad elbow, the bad knee. Those guys are on the floor going after that ball. This game means something to these guys.
Well, and I thought Allen grimaced when he tried to go by Best that time when he hit him because of his elbow being as sore as it is.
Ratliff across the lane. Pretty play.
Ratliff needs a basket to get him going offensively. He's a guy that can make a few buckets in a row in the low post.
Approaching the final minute of the first half. Big game for the 76ers, looking for home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. It's Dale Davis with Hill defending. Smits is there with another Indiana offensive rebound. Rose into traffic. Jalen Rose at 6'8", nimbly moves for two.
Well, and that was the key, Kevin, that 6'8", because if he penetrates and gets in the lane, most of the people that are guarding him, he's able to lift over him, and no hand will be in his face because he's too big. This is the kid I'd like to see generate a little bit more offense himself because he's got that ability to do it.
Speak and you shall be granted your wish. Huh?
Well, I think he makes them a lot tougher when he starts to look because he passes so well. He gets other people baskets, but what is very important is his outside shooting, I think.
And Allen Iverson has to work so hard right now. I mean, he's having a tough time just catching the ball, let alone catching and trying to get in scoring position.
Good point. Off of Hill, out of Philadelphia's possession. Now 9 seconds for Indiana. 23 seconds on the big clock.
I know now why Coach Larry Brown and him don't get along as well as they should. He doesn't want to practice. Watching him play today in person, that guy is working hard just to get shots.
Smits. Again, the shot clock now down to 6. McKee wide open is Best inside. Rebound by Theo Ratliff. He's grabbed his 2 rebounds.
Well, and Snow is a lot more cautious than Kukoc. When Kukoc got the ball, he wanted to push it a lot faster.
Allen Iverson has 11 points. Final seconds. Rose will try to beat the buzzer with the pass to McKee. Good if it goes. Out. Indiana with the first start this season for Austin Crozier. 12 points, 5 rebounds. And what about Rick Smits? Erratic all season long, but finding a nice 50% from the field with his 12 and 6 combination. And let's send it over to Todd Harris.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm with Chris Mullen. Chris, first quarter, nice game. He looks like he's a little youth in those legs.
I've been well rested all season, so I'm just trying to get ready for the playoffs. And
a lot of you guys, you have the home court wrapped up. You come into this game, but it doesn't look like you guys are just taking this game lightly.
Well, a lot of us haven't played that much, and we got a lot more important games coming up, so we want to get sharp and get feeling good about our games and be ready.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the time.
All right, coming up on the AT&T Halftime Report, Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith will run down all the action in the NBA tonight. And don't forget TBS $1 Million Monday presented by Budget Rent-A-Car, plus the Hubies Part 1. Hubies in studio and live reports from Craig